What? Oh, you guys are staring at my face, and that's not what you're supposed to be looking at. So let's, there we go. We'll switch that over. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to HVAC Uncensored. You guys know that I always start the show off with showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. There is some new sponsors coming. They're in the mix. I will have all that for you guys in a future show. What is up to everybody out there? Zeke, to all the other people watching. Please, if you guys have any questions during the show, please go ahead and put it in all caps so that I know, and then we'll save some time to be able to ask questions as we're going. Guys, first and foremost, I want to start the show off with the longest sponsor that I've had in the 5+ years that I've been doing this podcast is my friends over at Yellow Jacket. Guys, they've been making amazing award-winning products for 70+ years, no BS, and they make them right here in the US of A. Guys, with all this stuff and refrigerant stuff coming out, we need to make sure that our vacuum pumps, our recovery machines are all going to be A2L certified. And it's something we need to think about. So if you guys are going to purchase any kind of those items, make sure that you're future-proofing yourself, especially if your company does not provide them. When I have these sponsors, guys, do I want you to run out and buy Yellow Jacket? I mean, yeah, great. No. I just want you guys to think about them when you go to spend your hard-earned money, and you can't go wrong with what Yellow Jacket has to offer. Guys, they all their new vacuum pumps out are amazing. Okay, do they look like some of the other manufacturers? Like, oh, you can change the oil while the pump's running. When do you ever fucking have to do that? I've been doing this 20-something years. I have never had to change the pump while the pump was running. Have I had to change the oil because it's been dirty and had to do things? Yes. Well, let me take that back. I can probably count on one hand in the residential side when I've had to do that. I want a pump that's going to work. It's going to be there when I need it. It's built like a tank and does exactly what I want it and need it to do every time I plug it in. And that's what my Yellow Jacket pump does. So if you're looking for a vacuum pump, you're looking for any new gauges, or you buy other gauges, Yellow Jacket hoses should be hooked up to it. Make sure that you are following the podcast on all of the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I have a huge giveaway coming up. I'll be announcing all the details here soon, where I'm giving away a whole bunch of Yellow Jacket stuff, a wireless dual port panometer, one of their air charging wireless kits, vacuum pumps, you name it, we're giving it away. So make sure you stand clear and you know exactly how to win. So guys, remember, 70 years of expertise built into every tool. Next is going to be my friends over at CompanyCam. Guys, we are in the day and age where people are visual. They want to see things. And it's funny because we're going to talk about some of that using technology. You notice the last couple of podcasts, it's been about different applications and how we can use technology to make ourselves better in presentation to the customer, as far as being more efficient and how we do things. This is no different. CompanyCam, guys, if you are not using before and after photos with your customer, you're cheating yourself. Show that you're doing the right thing. Give that customer a before and an after picture, not even just on installs. Say it's a capacitor, picture before, picture after. Contactor, picture before, picture after. Show that you're doing the right thing. It's that little added extra benefit that just shows you're a reputable company. You're doing what you say you're doing. And there's no reason that that customer should not believe exactly what you're saying to a T. Nobody does that better than CompanyCam. All these CRMs out there, they're great. Sarah, House Call Pro, Service Titan, all of them. But photo documentation is not what they do. It's not what they're built for. It's not what they're staying up late at night. How are we going to make this better? Because they do so many other things. That's where CompanyCam comes in. It's what they do, and they're goddamn good at it. Guys, so I say this read every week, but I'm going to read it here fast. The only app every HVAC company needs, CompanyCam, makes it dead simple to communicate, document, and problem solve with your technicians no matter where you are. CompanyCam brings documentation, communication, and liability protection together in one simple, easy-to-use app for you and your entire team. Take unlimited photos and videos, share custom reports, create flawless before and afters, and even communicate and share progress with property owners with galleries and project timelines, all from your smartphone. CompanyCam, the only app every HVAC company needs. Check it out at companycam.com. /HVAC Uncensored. They will give you a free 14-day trial, free. Zero zilch, cost you nothing. If you like it after the 14 days, for being a part of HVAC Uncensored Nation, they will give you 50% off your first 2 months. Real fast, before we kick on to the show, another thing is every time you take a picture with that, it stamps, it timestamps it, date, where you took the picture at. We just had that actually saved where a customer said something wasn't done. And that picture being time stamped, date stamped, and location, like GPS, there was no way they could dispute it. Technician was here on this day at this time taking this picture. So this is a way to CYA, we always say, to cover your ass, and it also just gives you that better presentation to your customers. Last but not least, guys, I always want you to support your local supply houses if what you need is not at the local supply houses, especially with, not being able to get things and all these supply chain screw ups and all that kind of stuff we're having. Check out my friends over at Trutechtools. They have one of the best selections of HVAC tools and products that you could possibly need. Mr. Bill Spohn, Mr. Eric Preston, Billy Preston over there. Amazing people for what they do. Their customer service and tech support is bar none. It's the best. You need a product. You need to know what you're doing, how to use it properly. Call them. They will explain it to you. Something breaks when you buy it, they will take care of it for you. Nobody has anything bad to say about TruTech. So remember, use the discount code UNCENSORED at checkout and save 8% on your order. Okay, enough of that stuff, paying the bills. Let's get on to the pledge and get this show rolling. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Five, four, three, two, one, go!
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil Cavey Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am your host, Gil Cavey Jr. Thank you guys for spending your time here another Wednesday night. Hello to everybody in the chat, Zeke, Jose, Isaiah. Thank you guys for being here, and to everybody that listens to the audio after the fact. Guys, great show tonight. So if you look, the series we've kind of been doing is technology and using different things to make yourself better in this industry. I say at the end of every show, do what the next guy's not doing, set yourself apart. All these shows add up to that. I'm not saying you got to use every single one of them, even if it's one or bits and pieces. All these things are going to make you better and make you stand out to the customer, to the next company, all that kind of stuff. So guys, tonight, please put your hands together. I have a great show. This is the second time this company's been on, first time this person has been on. But guys, let's welcome Miss Danielle Putnam. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, thanks, Gil, for having me. I'm doing terrific.
Yeah.
It's fun to be in a live audience from my basement. I'm hiding in my movie room. My kids are upstairs screaming. It's great.
Yeah, that's funny. Everybody, when she first came on, she was like, is this video and audio? And I was like, well, it's both and it's live. She was like, great. I was like, but don't worry, we're uncensored. We'll get this shit done. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I know everybody has busy schedules, and sometimes doing these things late at night gets a little tricky sometimes. So thank you for being here.
It's like the fingers under the door and the knock.
Yeah, I have 4 kids, and I have to block off my studio, and I have a tripwire set. If they get too close, I have lights that flash. It's crazy.
That's hysterical. Oh my gosh, with a bucket of water that dumps on them, I can just see it.
Exactly. I got to have a gauntlet for them to get through. So being the second time, obviously I've had Mr. Rodney on. We've talked about new Flate, new flat rate. I guess let everybody know a little bit about you, and then we'll go into exactly what new flat rate is.
Well, hey, Gil, we really appreciate the opportunity. It's great to be here with you guys. And I love being on live. Thanks everybody for saying hello. My name is Danielle Putnam. I'm the president of the New Flat Rate. Rodney, who's been a guest here with Gil before, is my dad, and he's a contractor. My brothers are all contractors. My uncles are all contractors. My grandfather was a contractor. And so I feel like I've been born and bred in the industry. I'm not as skilled as you guys on here. I'm not going to pretend to be. But born and bred, being around it all my life, it's where I'm comfortable. It's what I love to be involved in. And day to day, I run the New Flat Rate and our team. And then at night like this, I'm a mom.
Well, but that's awesome. So you don't have to be in the trades, but you have appreciation for it because you've seen it from the other side. Just kind of like our wives, be honest, there's a lot of women in the trade now, which I support wholeheartedly. But
great.
Yeah, to all the men that are out there, like, don't realize what our wives go through in the summertime, our kids when you don't see us, and we leave before the kids wake up, we come home when they go to sleep. So even someone that understands this industry has enough, to be able to, talk about it, and respect from people in the trade, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that is, so everybody already knows. I mean, I think it's you guys, because it happened a long time ago about the integration with House Call Pro. That's been like a long time ago now, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it was last fall, and then we announced it fall, January, somewhere around there. But correct, New Flat Rate and House Call Pro have an integration together, and it's been fantastic. So for any House Call Pro users, it's been really great to sync the apps. And then we just did one with Service Titan. That one went live a couple weeks ago. For those users, that's been really great too.
Oh, sweet. Well, you figure between those two, you're covering at least 60% of the people out there, if not more. So that's amazing. I didn't know. So I'm glad you said that you do Service Titan. So now if something happens, I know that I can still have that on there. So for all the people out there, I guess in layman's term, what is the New Flat Rate? Explain to them exactly what menu pricing is.
Very cool. Well, we have an app, back in the day, a long time ago, it was just time and material. And now we're finding 50% of you guys are using time and material methods, which is time. And then there's the flat rate, which used to be a big, heavy, thick price book. And, I'm preaching to the choir now. You guys know what flat rate is. And so menu pricing was, hey, wait a minute. What can we do to take the sales pressure off of the technician in the home that is already there, being pressured to fix the problem that they're called out for, and the customer screaming down their throat? And not only that, your phone's ringing off the hook, and the dispatcher, where the heck are you? When are you going to be done? Going to the next call, and you got a blowtorch in your hand. I'm like, dude, give them a break, right? And so menu pricing is all about doing the upsell for you or the sale for you so that you don't have to worry about that. You can be the great craftsman that you are. So we have an app, and anything you diagnose in the home, the technician just simply shows the page to the customer and says, what should we do? The customer chooses between 5 options, and then they choose the option that they want. And Gil, how people buy, it's like you got your people that are always going to be middle of the road buyers. It's their safety zone, and they're always going to buy in the middle. And then you got your premium buyers that always buy first class tickets. And then you got your, hey, you know what? I don't have any money today, and I'm what we call a Band-Aid buyer. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your standard flat rate. And so it's all about automating that sales process in the home to take the pressure off the tech and to be able to increase that service ticket with what the customer wants. And, stop me, Gil. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking.
You're good. You're good.
But the number one rule of sales is that everybody hates it when you try to sell them something, right? We all hate it, and we feel that pressure. And the second that the sleazy salesman starts to come out of any of us, everybody puts up their defenses, right?
Yep.
You got all the objections. And then all of a sudden you have to be a super salesperson. And that's not me. And that's not the majority of the world to be able to overcome the objections. And so the system is just meant to do that for them. And hey, let's let the customer choose. What do they want? And they'll tell us, right?
Yeah. And that's the way it should be, because I hear from so many technicians, and I try to go over that is, I don't want to be that sleazy salesman. I just want to fix things. Like, I get that, but there has to be a point that we need to be thorough as technicians. We need to respect those people's time. They don't want to take off multiple days. You go out there, you fix one small thing. You don't look at anything. You don't offer anything else. You think you're doing the right thing, keeping the bill cheap. The system breaks again. Now they're pissed because they got to take off work. Well, why didn't you say something last time, Gil?
Mm-hmm.
what are you going to say? I was trying to keep your bill cheap, So I love that. And you're right. People, they're buyers. They just don't want to be sold. But they can't buy something if you don't offer it. So that's why I love the options. It's always presenting options. Let them choose. And like you said, what should we do? The old Uncle Joe Crucera thing,
Totally.
Yeah, what should we do? And it's amazing. They'll tell you what they want to do. It's not about you beating them up and taking their wallet. It's about providing options and just asking them, which one would you like to do? And they're going to tell you, hey, you know what? All that sounds good, but you need to be able to answer questions when they ask them. Oh, well, what is this? Why should I do this over this one? So you have to know your products. You have to know what you're offering. You can't just be a schmuck and I don't know, this one's better because it costs more. But that's where education comes in, and that's what your company should be providing, in those trading meetings and stuff like that. So, so you guys have it built out for like every like little task, like this goes bad, bam, you click, and then you have all these pre-built options already there, correct?
We do, absolutely. And it's very simple. You just follow the index, right? Like, what am I working on today? What area am I working on? You follow the index, and then you find that menu page and you take a look at the prices, and yeah, that looks about right. And then you decide, which page and show it to the customer. And you can show multiple pages and kind of build up your proposal if you want to do that too. You hit on something, Gil. It's not just here in the trades. It's kind of like people, right? We like to perceive other people and their spending habits based on our own personal budgets, which is a horrific thing, right? Somebody shows up, oh, they have a BMW, they've got money. No, they might be broke. We don't know, right?
They're credit rich.
Or, I mean, it could be that, or we think, oh, I don't have money today, so they don't either. And so that's something that prohibits people. And it's not just in the trades. It's like, I can ask somebody, go buy something for me. And then they come back with the cheapo. And I'm like, dude, that's going to break today. Like, that's not what I wanted. And so when it comes back to, you kind of hit on it, that you've got to be an expert in your field and be perceived as that expert so the customer trusts you, and then know your product so that you can present options and let them choose. So not even just the repair options, but even if we want to talk about add-on options, hey, by the way, I've got this great new product that I just installed in my home. I love it. Don't know if you'd be interested or not. Do you want to take a look? And, because they know their budget is my point, and we don't. And so what can we do to stop people from projecting our own wallets on everybody else in the world?
Yeah, well, like I tell people, I've had guys, they're like, Gil, how do I offer like IAQ products? I'm like, we just went through, and just so you know, I cuss on here, but we just went through a fucking pandemic. People were stuck in their house. Trust me, they know what IAQ is, but maybe they don't know there's such items that can go in their house. You have to say something to them almost, and it's also like I always say, people lie, numbers don't. So if you offer something, 100 times and, 50% of the time they take it, okay, that's not bad. Yeah. But if you offer it 5 times and one person takes it, well, that's shitty numbers, like you have to at least be persistent in how you do things and what you offer to customers. And like you said, they'll tell you what they want. I think the old fashioned mentality, like I was saying before, is get in, get out, do 10 calls in a day, try to keep it as cheap as possible. For one, those businesses, their doors close because they're not profitable. They think they're busy. They're busy. They look in the bank account at the end of the month. Fuck, we didn't make any money. Then the other thing is the customers are not happy. You cannot do a good job running that many calls in a day. You can't. I've been there, done that. You cannot. It is, quality over quantity. Our guys, 5 is max. 4 is all I want them running a day. 4 calls. If you're there 2-3 hours a piece, so be it. But you're going to give that customer the best fucking service they've ever had. And that's why we've been able to grow so fast. And there's a lot of people in here that they do their companies the same way. And that's where I think something like this new flat rate really kind of helps you do that, because what's one of the number one things they say when you start a company is your pricing has to be right. And this already comes with the menu and the pricing built in, correct?
It does. Yeah. We'll ask a couple of questions when we set up a new member, Gail. For example, what are the tax rates in your area? What's your billable hour? If you don't know, we'll help calculate it for you. What kind of service agreement or club membership program do you have? Build that in. So we have 4 typical questions. Once we have, and then of course your trip charge or service charge, whatever you want to call it, diagnostic. We build that in. And once we have it in, we have all the other numbers in the back end. And then you're exactly right. We have all your pricing right there for you. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's real quick and easy to get up and going. I love what you're saying about doing less calls a day, because you are not wrong. We're not only burning out our companies and we're burning out our technicians, but just churning through our customers. And it's so difficult to get a new customer that why aren't we taking care of the ones that we have? Right.
Yeah.
And it is that. And I get it. It's panic. And right now we're starting to, I don't know what it is in Maryland today, but it's starting to warm up. It's already hot some places. So here we are and we freak out. Oh my gosh, we got all these no air calls. What do we do? What do we do? And so we try to get through them instead of prioritizing correctly, having the right criteria, having our staff trained so that they dispatch correctly for profits, right? And allowing your guys to take their time to do a great job and to be the expert. One thing with our system is with the 5 different choices, for example, that the customer will see, they might choose a platinum option and that might take more time. And so when some people come on board that are running 10 calls a day, they're like, well, oh my gosh, I can't spend that much time. Yeah, but that top option might be $2,500. So can't you let that customer just buy your day? They can't buy some time from you.
Exactly.
We have to change our mindset.
Yeah. Well, plus, and if a guy's doing 10 calls, he's only doing 5 because those other 5, he's in and out. He's not doing a good job. You know what I mean? His mind's already gone. So it's not fair. And one thing at our company, Beltway, that we try to do is it's not customer first, it's technician first. If we do everything to make them happy, they will in turn take care of the customer. And do we have it down perfect? No, we constantly have to be getting better and keep growing. But we've created a culture where, our team and our technicians, like, we're a family. We love each other. We take care of each other. They know I'd do anything for them. They would do anything for me. And that's what we've kind of done is I'm fine if you only run 2 calls, and the family for the customers. When you buy a maintenance plan through us and you call and it's hot, well, guess what? I'm coming out to you same day. Those people, those new customers, they can wait. You're part of the family. They're not. That's one of the benefits they have of being in one of those plans. So it's crazy. I think especially in being in a shortage as well. We have all the older people retiring, not enough coming in. We got to make sure that we're doing it the right. And then we have to capitalize on the money that's out there. So something like this, we're running less calls, making more money and doing a better job for the customers. Like, people will spend money. Apparently I'm hawking stuff on my mic. Sorry about that. You'd be surprised. People will spend money as long as they understand and you explain to them what it's going to do. Every system that you go out to probably needs $2,000 worth of stuff. And that's just being honest. That's not being some sleazy guy. I was good at sales and good at that communication part. So some people are good at that communication. Some people aren't. I think something like this is what helps those people who can't communicate, but they know what they're doing. They can fix anything. They can explain anything. But now they have that. Hey, here's what you can do. And then when they ask the question, they can be like, oh, this part does this. This part does that. So that's why I really think that this is what's so good about it. Because at first, I'm not going to lie. And I even told your dad when I first talked to him, like off air, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not quite sure. But I'm also the first person. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, So I'm not afraid to admit that. That's how we all grow. So I do think this is neat. Going into the integration part. So when you work with one of those CRMs, those options are all automatically inside of there, or is it like bouncing back and forth? Like, how does that work with the integrations?
It's a good question. It's called an API. So, for example, with House Call Pro and Service Titan, other service and dispatch programs out there. Nice. I like it. Other programs out there, aren't quite ready for an API. Some of the partners that we work with, we have to provide an Excel import file and you put it in your system, like your inventory control, and you've got all your prices in there. So, a lot of the service and dispatch companies, they're still developing, and when they're ready for their API, we can't wait to plug in. But House Call and Service Titan, the integration You use the new flat rate to present your prices, and then if you're integrated, it'll say send to House Call Pro or send to Service Titan, and it matches with the job order and the customer. And then all of your information goes directly there. And then you complete the job. You process your credit card in House Call or Service Titan, for example, the customer's credit card, not yours.
Oh yeah. That's pretty sweet. So how do you, I know this is kind of redundant. So it's pretty much everything a technician could possibly do is built in there. There's no task, like there's no situation where it's like, oh, I would have to like add something in manually or something like that. Or I guess it's kind of hard to cover everything. You know what I mean? Like those little nuance kind of things.
Yeah, we are residential and light commercial. So if we're going to talk big commercial jobs, you're probably going to have to do some custom quoting, right?
Yeah.
But for everything residential and light commercial, yes, we've been around for 11 years. And so we do, what's interesting, there's other pricing companies out there, but we're the only one that does ride-alongs. And so we do ride-alongs in the field every other week or, sometimes every week. And we do a lot of training and coaching as well, just by osmosis. Because when we started the new flat rate, people said, hey, will you fly up to Minnesota and train our techs on this new system? We're like, oh, yeah, we'd never thought of that. Of course we will, right? So now all of a sudden we've got incredible trainers and coaches that go on site and do training all over the US and Canada. And so because of that, I love the feedback that we're always getting from the field, and we've really got our thumb on what's going on. And so that's why we are confident that, yeah, you can use the system for anything diagnosed in the home, because we're out there watching it too and seeing it. And when our members come back and they say, hey, can you write this or write that? Then yeah, we'll add it. And so over 11 years, we've added and launched. And today we're in a really, really good spot.
That's pretty sweet. Because when your dad started this, it was literally like a book, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a paper book?
Oh my gosh. It was like super thick, super heavy, spiral bound, right?
I remember that.
And it was a thick cardboard paper. So one contractor calls, he's like, yeah, but what if you get it wet? And my dad's like, hold on, I'll do the water hose test. So he takes it outside, hoses it down, shakes it off. He's like, oh yeah, it still works. I was like, yeah.
I remember that's how I first heard about new flat rate, and I saw somebody with the book and he was like showing it. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then when I finally met your dad, I was like, oh, that's what this was. I'm like, now I get it. So I'm just trying to think of different questions with this. So say us at Beltway, we start using new flat rate, and then a year from now, I know a lot of them, we can go in and like House Call, I can go in and, change my prices by 10%. With that integration, that does what new flat rate as well. They're just kind of conjunction, or can I go in and do the same thing over there? Like raise my prices by 10% or 5% or whatever it is.
Yeah, and you'd do that through our side. So, right, because if you were using the new flat rate for your pricing, you'd come over the new flat rate, you'd change all your prices, raise by 10%, decrease by 5%, change by section, right? Maybe you just want to increase your equipment or something, or, heaters, whatever you want to just change, you could change by section. And so you can do that really quickly right away. And then now we've got some really cool custom pages that people can do. They can write it. And, because what they wanted, Gil, and by they, members all over the US and Canada would say, hey, we want to be able to call out, this is the warranty we want with this fix, or we want this specifically. And so we have everything done for you so you can use it today. But sometimes people still want to put in, hey, our company does it this way and we save this word. And so then they can just go into the back end, put in their special words, just like they would go in and put in their special prices and change things with the click of a button. And then publish to their app, and it's done.
No, that makes perfect sense, because we always say that we want to be using the same kind of, verbiage, language, and things that we're saying to be consistent to the customers. So, when now I know it's big, especially a lot of people hurting out there today as we're kind of in a crazy times. Financing is huge. Is that something that we put in through your options, or they get the options, we go back into House Call or back into Service Titan, and then we just do what we would normally do? Is that how that works on that?
We have a PP payment plan, right? So you can just click the button and it would show the customer, hey, if you're interested in financing today, here's the 5 different prices that we have for you. And then you click that PP button and it shows what their monthly rate could be on each option.
Oh, nice.
So if you're interested in financing, you can have this repair here or this piece of equipment for as low as, $125 a month or whatever, the financing rate was. And then we don't have, so then you'd go back into, whatever you're currently using for your financing. We just signed a deal with Optimus Financing through EGIA. And so we're going to build that into the app. So then you could just click and finance them right then and there. But today you'd go to wherever you're doing that. We just show the finance rates.
Yeah, nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just thinking about questions that I know that like our guys would be asking me. So I'm just asking so I know the answers to it, because I know financing has become a huge thing. Like I said, especially with, credit. And before it used to always be 0%, 0%, 0%.
Right.
And that's great. But most 0% buyers are cash buyers. That's why they're worried. So especially 0% for 18 months, 0% for 24 months, those people are cash buyers. They're never going to take that long. So we had to get creative to try to find plans, because a lot of people were like, don't really care about interest. I don't want it to be crazy, but I need my payment to be cheap so that I can afford it in case I lose my job or I don't work for 2 weeks. So yeah, that part got really creative trying to work with customers. And it's amazing because customers loved it and it cost us less money. Like people don't realize how much the dealer fees cost on some of these. Like 0% for 16 months is awesome, but not at 17%.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, you got to really need it for me to give that to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get it. It gets so pricey. It's really a different market too, Gil. I mean, coming out of COVID, it's like there's 1,000 things that have changed. Our workforce has changed. Everybody knows it. And I know that's not what we're talking about today. And everybody became Uber drivers and dinner delivered drivers. But now all of a sudden those markets are saturated. So we're starting to see people come back into the workforce, into the standard, old school workforce of 2 years ago. And then the money cycle's kind of changing too, right? So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that some things are going to really start shaking out over the next couple of years for the better.
Yeah, I hope. And then business owners out there also need to know that something like this, your pricing is one of the biggest things that will cause you to hemorrhage money or close the doors. A lot of times you're done. You just don't know it yet because you haven't realized it. And by the time you do, it's too late. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me, and I'm not some business guru by any means. When me and Kelly were doing the podcast, they're like, hey, I have ABC going on. What should I do? We've got other people to help them. And by the time we look into it, it's like, hey, you should shut the doors. Like you're too far gone. So getting your pricing right is huge. And something like this, like if you're still doing time and material, I'm not saying it won't work because I know some people do. There's just better ways to do it. Like as a customer, if I can give you, this is what it cost, whether it takes me 6 hours or 2 hours, this is what it costs to do it. Customers like that because you do time and material. Oh, this is going to take me 4 hours to do this part that costs this much. Or if you just say that it's $150 an hour, I'm just making up a number. They're sitting there watching their watch.
True.
You go take a break.
You out the door, yeah,
you go take a break and they're like, hey, man, am I paying for this time? It just creates this goofy relationship with the customer where if I just tell them, hey, it costs this much, they agree to it. They don't care. I mean, they do, but they don't. Yeah.
And they set their budget. The beauty of menu is that bottom option in our menu is your standard flat rate. So if the customer chooses that, then hey, you got your flat rate and you got your costs covered. But we have proven, Gil, that they buy 2 to 3 times more when given a menu. And so we're seeing such increases. And our whole goal is let's help contractors grow from a position of strength. Let's put more cash in their bank. So then they can take a breath and take a look at, hey, what do I want to work on next in my business? Do I need to work on marketing? Do I need to hire? What do I need to do? But first, let's get that cash flow up. And let's help these technicians make the kind of money that they deserve, right? So that their spouse doesn't have to work if they don't want them to, so that they can make sure that they take care of their kids and they buy that brand new truck off the showroom floor. We had a tech a couple years ago send us a picture of this brand new Tacoma he bought off the showroom floor. And he was so excited and proud because he was on a performance pay plan based off of the menu. And customers 80% of the time buy more when you give them options. And so it's, to your point, you're hounding in, let's get your prices right. And then I'm going to hound in. And then if you offer more than one price, you have the opportunity to make even more money. And that's just cash flow to stabilize your business.
Yeah. Like I always, you kind of use the, the analogy, like, they say if you go get, tires and, the guy doesn't tell you that the rotors are bad. He puts on your tires, you leave and you come back like, hey man, I was just in here and my rotors are bad. Like, why didn't you say something about it? Oh, well, I'm sorry, Gil. I was trying to keep your bill down. Like, no, we're in a busy world. People value their time.
Totally.
They're all beep, beep, beep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We get so annoyed at the inconvenience.
Yes.
And the same with home repair, right? We're inconvenienced because we had to take time off work. We had to do this. We had to do that. We missed our child's school program or whatever it is. We're inconvenienced because we had to be here. And then it breaks down again, or you didn't show me that we could do what? You could have added on all this extra stuff and done it one time.
Yeah. And then the people that are working from home, they're like, oh, well, they work from home. So what? That should be a positive. Now they're home more. The air quality, the system working is even more important because now they're home more. So,
you know what? That's a good point and a good segue into, hey, I see that you're home. How do you like the air in your home? How do you like the quality? Are you feeling healthier? Are you feeling better? Are you comfortable in your home?
Yeah. And a lot of times, you bring things up and maybe when you buy something, you may not think of yourself, but you may think about somebody else. Like I may see something and be like, oh, that would be really good for my kids. Or I know this would help my wife, So that's why when you offer all these things, don't say no for the customer. And anybody who listens, I feel like I'm a broken record saying the same thing. It's so true. Like you offer everything and they'll tell you what they don't want. But it's amazing when you do that and you start leaving with $5,000, $6,000 service tickets. And guess what? The people fucking love you. You're leaving with more money. They're leaving you 5-star reviews. They're giving you tips.
Yeah, they are.
And your boss is like, way to go, man. Like,
totally.
It's really crazy how it just everybody has to have that aha moment when they finally do it and they realize the customers love them for it. All techs have it. I just think some take longer than others because I had it. I would go out, try to be as cheap as possible, change the capacitor and leave, until you come back and the guy's like, Gil, you were just here. What the hell, man? I'm like, sorry, Mr. Jones, I'll figure it out. And then I started doing that whole offer and everything. And I'm like, damn, I'm making spiffs on what I'm doing just by being honest and offering stuff. That customer loves me. They're like, oh, we only want you to come back. And my boss is like, way to go, Gil. Like, it's crazy how it works by doing the right thing for something that you thought was wrong for so long.
It's so true. And Gil, you're a superstar. So this stuff, you roll out of bed and you just do it. You can show people upsells and things, right? Easy. But for those who aren't, I've got 3 steps that I'll tell you. So grab your pen or start typing, but write this down, put it in your text message. Let me take a breath and make sure you got your pen. I'm serious, right? I got 3 steps for you. For those of us that aren't superstars that can't just roll out of bed and just do it. But number 1, if you want, okay, good. You got your pen. Okay, good. Number 1, you're going to point out the problem. Okay. So you're there, you're on site and you're doing the repair that the customer asked for. While you're doing it, because you don't want to be a salesperson, because the number 1 rule is everybody hates it when you try to sell them something, right? So number 1, you're going to point out the problem. Oh my gosh. And you're going to have some concern and some empathy. Oh my gosh, Gil, when I was down in your crawl space, I noticed, such and such with your ductwork. And that's step number 1. You're going to point out the problem with some empathy. Oh my gosh, I noticed this. Step number 2, third-party credibility. Did you know that the EPA says, American or 38% of your ductworks are leaking here in America, and you're not above average, are you, here in Georgia, or maybe you are, but did you know? So you're going to point out third-party credibility. So you can use the EPA, you could use, XYZ, whatever your third-party credibility is. And depending on what it is you're pointing out, it's really easy to Google and get some third-party credibility.
Manufacturer, like use the manufacturer.
Thank you.
Every furnace has an AGA stamp inside, the American Gas Association. Use all those to your advantage.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you said those. Step 3, ask the question. I don't know if you even care about that or not. Is that a concern to you? Is that something that you're concerned about? So you ask a question. So step 1 was you point out the problem. And the magic words are, oh my gosh. Step 2 was you bring in the third party credibility. And then step 3 is ask the question. I don't know if you even care about that. Is that something that you're concerned about? Do you want me to show you some options or talk to you about it? Or, hey, you might not even be concerned. So that way we're not giving them any sales pressure and we're being perceived as the expert because we're not sitting here trying to just tell them something that we know as if we're Mr. God of facts, but we're bringing in the third party credibility and we notice and we're perceived as the expert and we're their friend.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. And there's probably so many people that do stuff like this that don't even realize that that's exactly what they're doing. Kraus, what did you say? But that could backfire. And then they buy the whole estimate.
The whole estimate.
Oh yeah. Well, that's fine. It doesn't have to backfire and they can buy the whole estimate. I mean, it's just like when if somebody has a 30-year-old system, should you fix it? Whatever. You should give them an option to fix it, but you should also give them an option to replace it. And if they decide they want to fix it, is it the right decision? Probably not, but it's not my decision to make. We're the experts. We give them the facts on what they should do and they decide what they want to do. If they ask, hey, Gil, this is your house, what would you do? Well, Mrs. Smith, I personally wouldn't put that kind of money into an aging system like this, but that's just me. If you want to fix it, we can. But at the same time, I don't want you throwing all that money away. R22 is expensive. There's no warranty on refrigerant. So if I charge this up 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 months from now, all the refrigerant leaks out, you're out all that money. I just want to make them aware of their decision by giving them facts, not lying to them, not pressuring them, just being honest and show that I care. It's amazing by like I said, doing thorough, like in the wintertime, checking heat exchangers. It's amazing how many of them are cracked when you actually take the time to check them. Do I want to find one cracked? No, I don't, but I want to make sure that I'm doing thorough and I'm checking it when I do have some empathy for the customer. Like, I'm sorry, this is not what I wanted to find, but this is unsafe for you and your family to operate. I'm not sure how you want to move forward. There is no good option, but this is option A. This is option B. They'll tell you, fuck, okay, let's do this. But they're going to respect you for being thorough and being honest with them. That's what we have to do. We have to cut the bullshit and be honest with people and give them options on what we're trying to fix while we're there. There's too many fly-by-night. There's too many run-cap bandits out there just doing hack jobs, shitty work as cheap as possible. And they're the ones... Yeah. What is that? Hello? Okay. They're the ones
I hear you.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's clear on my end.
Oh, let me check yours. It was maybe it's clear. When you came through, you had I don't know if I hit something or
like an echo.
Yeah, yours is coming through funny all of a sudden, and you've been fine the whole time. Anyway, we can figure it out here in
clear online.
Yeah.
Still clear online?
No, for some reason yours just coming through all scratchy now. That's what the hell? Nothing's changed.
I wasn't even using my hands. I was like being still.
Yeah. Now it's it's coming through like it's all scratchy or something. I don't know.
Shoot.
Let's see what we got going on here. But real fast. Anyway, what I was saying is that's the problem, that, these people are out there mucking up our industry. And then when these customers are like, oh, I Googled it, we don't know what to say. What you need to say is why you charge what you charge, add value to what you do. When you go out for a steak dinner, you have those diner people, Outback and Ruth Chris. Hey, we're the Ruth Chris kind of, clientele. That's who our customers are. And if they're not your customer, that's okay. Just be honest and move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are good examples of those restaurants because we have all those kinds of buyers. And so that's why Options is so awesome, because it reaches all those demographics.
Whatever happened, you just cleared up because now you're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have all those. And, something that's really important and an easy way to say it is high value, low cost when you're doing options, add-ons, additional thing, high value. So for example, you can have a hamburger and it's just a hamburger, but the second you add a piece of cheese, you got yourself a cheeseburger. And a cheeseburger now, a lot of people like them, a good cheeseburger, right? And so it was a low cost to add that piece of cheese, but it's high value. So as we continue to provide quality and we do a great job and we're perceived as the expert, and then we offer and suggest things, high value, low cost is a great way to add to our tickets too.
Yeah, my buddy Tersh from the Service Business Mastery podcast. Yeah, I think it's Tersh, unless that's Joshua. I'm not sure. So it's one of those two. Yeah, it's, and we get those people all the time. And I know one thing. I remember talking to your dad, like a lot of things on there, like some of the names are different. Like they don't call them like.
Yeah, true. We use what we call verbal packaging, and that helps take away the Google. Takes away the Google and the objections. But something that's really cool, Gil, is you present a menu page and it's written for the customer. So it's verbal packaging. It's talking about the system instead of the part. And so the customer takes a look. And if they say, hey, what does that mean? Or what is this? And you just click a button, it switches over into the tech term and it labels every single thing and tells them everything. And that's for the sake of the nice note.
Yeah, I pop it up on the screen since he said that. I figured I'd put it up there. Yeah, no,
so you got the tech page, so then the customer can see exactly, and then the technician feels more confident being able to read. Well, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and this is what I'm going to use, and this is the kind of equipment that my company uses because we're backed by a great distributor that can make sure that if it ever goes out or anything, that we can get a new one right away, and whatever the reasons are, right? This is what we have.
Yeah. And changing the wording. Let's be honest. Is it a little white lie the way you package things? Yes.
No.
Well,
it is not.
Well, I want to say yes. So like for us, like when we do like a hard start kit, we put start assist,
okay.
Or even a capacitor. Some people call it's a battery, because when somebody Googles it and searches it, a whole number of things come up that aren't HVAC related. Most people don't care, but that is for those Googler people that are pain in the ass customers. It just saves you a headache, because obviously if you've done what we talked about earlier, you've done your homework and you have your pricing correct, you should be charging probably, $300 for that capacitor, because it's not just about that $15, $20 part. There's more to it, and it's going to save you some headaches down the road. We do not in any way change the word. We never change the name of a part. We do not talk about the part. Who is this Facebook user? Let's see. We talk about the system and the solution.
Is that Rodney?
It might be. Let's see. Maybe I'm getting yelled at by your dad. Sorry, couldn't help it.
Possibly.
Let me see who it is. Let me click over to the Facebook. And why am I not seeing any comments even on the Facebook?
And that is correct, though. We don't change the name in our verbal packaging. We talk about the system.
Oh, sorry, Hard. I gotta unmute, mute. It is your dad. It is your dad. So thank you, Mr. Rodney. So, and I guess I didn't mean that in a bad way. It's just, I agree with people who, I get why they do it. So I'm not against it. So am I going to sit here and say that I have never, ever said I got to change your start assist and your battery? I have, just because I know those parts are bad. I know they're going to help the customer, and I don't feel like having a 45-minute conversation. You know what I mean? So that's cool, Mr. Rodney. I appreciate that. And the packages make sense because it's everything that goes along. Like, let's be honest, we're taught when you change the compressor, you should be changing the capacitor, the contactor, the filter dryer, all that kind of stuff is included in it anyway. So, yeah, I don't want your dad yelling at me. So they do not change the names, in case anybody was wondering. Loud
and clear.
Yeah, loud and clear. But like I said, I get why some people, do that with day and age of, the internet. I just had to deal with one of those people the other day. I want a detailed breakdown of the bill. Somebody just said torque booster. Yeah, there's all different goofy kind of names out there. So how do you guys, so is this something kind of an awkward question, since you guys kindly have like, it's all wrapped up, it's kind of amazing as is, like moving in the future, like how do you make new flat rate better? Like what's kind of in the mix? Like how do you keep throwing a monkey wrench in to kind of update it, make it better? Like is there anything in the works, or is it just kind of getting it out to more people at this time?
You can always make something better, especially with technology, and things get old so fast these days. It's like, oh, I got the brand new iPhone and then tomorrow it's old, right?
Yeah.
And so with the new flat rate, like I said, we're always doing training and coaching all over the place. And so we're seeing things and, hey, let's try this, let's try that. One thing that we're doing is constantly moving into more verticals. And so we started with HVAC. Now we have plumbing, electrical, chimney, indoor air quality. We launched indoor air quality last year and have done a lot of training with that. And that's been awesome because there are so many HVAC companies that wanted to diversify, wanted to add to their offerings, and didn't quite know how to get started in HVAC. And so didn't know how to get started in IAQ. So our IAQ system was an incredible way and it's the only system where they can be paid for their discovery time. So we have menu pages for discovery, right? If you want to leave an air advice unit in the home for 7 days or something, there's menu options for that so that the customer can choose and get paid. And so that's one way where we've expanded, is we're expanding our verticals and then our training along with it. Technology wise, with our APIs, that's constantly coming too. And then the other day I got a call from a customer that says, Danielle, on my commercial jobs, I really need to be able to custom write this, boom, 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 right then and there on the spot from the app. Can I do that? So I went back to my tech team. Can we do this? How can we do that? Oh, yes, that's a great way to do it. That's a great use case. Let's put it on the development schedule. And so we're getting user feedback all the time. And then to your point, yeah, those are things that people can look forward to coming down the mix, is when they provide feedback. And one is to be able to do different kinds of estimates directly from the app face in the field is something that we're working on. Others is, I'd definitely love to get more, if I can just be honest. And sometimes I'm too honest, and my dad being on the show is going to be like, shut up, Danielle. But, I still love the idea of product placement. Right? I still love the idea of having product placement directly in the app so that they could click and get whatever they need right then and there. And so we're always looking at that too. Being a technology company, we are embracing technology as fast as we can. And so that we can continue to grow and to scale to meet the changing needs of the market, because it's changing all the time.
And that's also because I've had other companies, not even like similar, not even their applications, but not even the same as you guys, but, where they help you diagnose and you click it. It orders it from the supply house. There's a courier that drops it off. And whenever you can kind of stay in one app and do different things, that's what people want, like they want to use. We're in the day and age of Amazon. We want everything in 2 days,
Well, we do, don't we?
You know what I mean? And trust me,
Mm-hmm.
I say like, oh, that's not me. I'm old school, but God damn it, when my package isn't here in 2 days, I'm pissed,
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah. While I'm thinking, because I know we're getting down to the nitty gritty at the end. So say we get to a customer that they have like, there's a lot of things like the actual repair. Can you like bundle packages together, or would you just make that one giant package? Like how would that work? Like say I find a contactor capacitor, but I also want to offer them like some water safeties, a duct cleaning, some air quality stuff. Is that just all kind of built into one package, or like, I was just kind of curious.
It's a good question, Gil. And let me back up and say that when you go to Home Depot or you go to Lowe's and you got your shopping cart and you grab something from this aisle and you grab something from that aisle, and then all of a sudden you fill your shopping cart and you get to the checkout, do they say, oh, Mr. Gill, you got so much stuff today. We're going to give you a discount and create one just lump. Here's your just one little price for everything that you bought today. They don't, because it's retail, right? And so with our system, for example, it's like that too. Now, there are a lot of scenarios where if it's parts within the same system, that a higher option, if a customer chose a platinum or a gold or a bronze, it's quite possible that all of those things are included in that repair. But if we're working on different systems, different areas of the house, we would show multiple menu pages. And so you could call it building a proposal. You could call it your summary of findings, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay.
But we present multiple pages to the customer. Okay, Mr. Customer, right now we're going to talk about your condenser and, choose an option for this. Now, Mr. Customer, we're going to talk about this, choose an option for that. And then they go through based on their budget and their concern level, right? And they might choose a platinum over here and a Band-Aid over here and a silver over there. And then you've got your total.
No, that makes sense. Cause I know a lot of times I'm just thinking about, use at, for like my needs if we did it. And I know how I offer when I was in the field. I'm not out there anymore, but, and how my technicians offer where it might be, a maintenance, like our maintenance plan has to be offered in every single one. Like that's not, if they don't have one, they need one. That's got to be built in there. And then some of the guys, we always say they like to offer the low hanging fruit, like the water safeties or the little things like that. Yeah. Or they might go for something big where it is, a UV light, a Remy Halo or whatever it may be. So that's why I was just trying to think, but
and you can have some of those things built into some of your platinum options. For example, you choose a top option and it also includes XYZ if you wanted.
Yeah, I definitely want to check this out because Ryan, the actual owner of Beltway, our company, my buddy and owner, we've been talking about and we've built some packages inside a House Call Pro. When I started doing that, that's when I thought about new flat rate. I'm like, well, this is what they do. And they link with House Call Pro. I'm like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like somebody's
take a look at it. I'd love for you to see it again.
Yeah, I definitely love to check it out because I think this might solve, the problem that we've been trying to do to bundle some of those packages together. And if we ever do decide to change CRMs down the road, you guys are still affiliated. And who knows, by the time we switch, we've been talking about it for a couple of years now. By the time we do it,
you work to switch.
Yeah, you might be, with some of the other ones out there. You never know. There might be other affiliations integrations that you guys might have. So that's awesome. Is there anything you'd like to cover before we start to close out? I know we're getting close to an hour.
I've got a giveaway if you don't care, Gil.
No,
anybody
of course.
That shoots me an email, our 101 wow factors. It's for tech since we've got a lot of technicians on the call. Specifically, just 101 ideas of how to wow the customer. Hey, if I'm working in this area, do this just as a little clean and shine, right? And sometimes we all need a refresher on some ideas on how to best wow the customer and continue to be perceived as the expert. So my email is Danielle@menupricing.com. And just mention that you saw us here on the show and I'll shoot you over that 101 wow factors.
Nice. Yeah. If you guys need that, I'll put her, so I'll have their, link to new flat rate, in the show description of this. I'll put her email with that in there because that'll also be in, if you're listening to this to the audio version, do you want that just a live or the audio version as well?
Oh yeah, audio's great.
Okay, yeah. So I'll put that
everywhere. Yeah, I want it for everybody.
Everywhere.
Everybody gets a car.
Everybody's getting it. But I'm also going to put in the show notes, they don't change the names of things, okay? In case anybody was wondering. So I don't want to mix that. We're laughing and joking, but I don't want to mix that up because I know that is touchy because there is some people that take it like the total wrong way, like where that is 100% lying, being dishonest, and that's not okay. So I want to make sure that there was no affiliation like that. So I get your dad. He spent a long time building this up. You know what I mean? And you don't want, especially on shows like this, all of a sudden somebody hears a little spurt, hears the wrong thing. I don't want that white lie getting spread. So that's not true. So, that's awesome. I love what you guys are doing. We'll have to get together at one of these live events. Sometimes AHR, when we're at like these different things or some of these different expos, like our time is taken up trying to talk to different guests.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, and different podcasts that I don't get to actually be like a fan, so to speak, and just talk to people because my time is, allotted so much. But
what's your next show you're going to? At AHR, that's January.
Yeah, so I'm always at AHR. I'm trying to get to more. I know Tersh and Josh go to a lot of them. I don't get to go to a lot over the summer because I'm my oldest son.
Totally not.
Yeah, well, plus busy. Plus my oldest son is a Division I athlete for baseball and football. So
hooray.
Yeah. So we're going to a lot of camps, and this is kind of my last year. So I want to kind of enjoy it before he's gone.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you have to. It's important.
Yeah. So every weekend I'm somewhere. So I was in Delaware last weekend. This weekend I don't got to leave, but then it's like Maine, Florida, Atlanta. Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine. My kids are still little. My oldest is 7. And so I know it's going to get busy.
Yeah. So I have a 16-year-old boy, 13-year-old boy, 6-year-old daughter, 4-year-old daughter. And that's why I have no hair.
Totally get it.
What did Ter say? I feel like AHR Expo is the next time I'll be out and about too. I hear you, buddy, because it gets to be a lot. And to me, there's I've been to a bunch of the different ones, but I love AHR the most because I love the meeting people and the relationships. To be honest, I like podcasting there. It's fun, but I could take it or leave it. I like hanging out with like Tersh and Josh and other friends and meeting people like you, building those kind of relationships. That's why I like going away. I love what they do as far as having a platform for us to be able to podcast. It's awesome. Like Mr. Cole Bush puts that together. Absolutely awesome. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But those relationships is what's so fun. So I'll have to make sure that I stop by your guys' tent.
Speaking of relationships, if you don't care, I'm going to do a shout out for women in HVACR. You know, I know more and more women are coming into the industry, and it's a nonprofit organization. We're just promoting bringing more women into the industry, and to help, we do a lot of scholarship programs and mentorship to help bring them in. And that doesn't mean always technicians. It could be in the office, sales, or, you know, any different position, but just to help to grow the workforce. And so women in HVACR, if you have any women in your company or your office, I encourage you to take a look and consider getting them a membership. I don't know what it is today. It's like $129 a year or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but super affordable way to get your women in your office connected.
Yeah, I forgot that you were affiliated with them, because I had Colleen and somebody. What was her? I don't want to mess up her name. And the president and vice president. I think that's who they were.
Yeah, probably. So it could have been Colleen and Ruth, or Colleen and Lauren, or Marcia.
That's it. Marcia. I remember the name.
Marcia. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember we were having trouble because wherever she works, it's very secure. So trying to get the link to work was like, it was very, very hard. Your dad, come to Business Uncensored, the new flat rate.
That's true. October 3rd through 5th, you are invited.
Where's it at?
It's going to be in Atlanta. In Atlanta, October 3rd through 5th, Business Uncensored. It's our annual high-level business conference. There's techs there too. So business owners and their implementers, there are technicians. And we really focus on bringing outstanding higlevel content that you don't hear anywhere else. So it's our 2.5-day event.
That's funny, because I think I'm going to be down there for a baseball tournament. So that might actually work. I might be able to slip and slide for that. I'm gonna write that down right now. Hey, I want my royalties for the Uncensored name though, Mr. Rodney.
Yeah, that's true. HVAC Uncensored, Business Uncensored. I mean,
exactly. That's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I think the URL is 2022bu.com.
Yeah, I'll check that out, because I really it would take me a second to find it, but I'm almost positive that date I am going to be in Atlanta for a baseball tournament, and that's one of the whole week ones, so I can definitely sneak away, and my son will be fine.
Well, don't miss out when he's playing, right? But then when he's taking a break and taking his nap, you come on over.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so much fun, and I really do love what you guys are doing. I think this is an awesome way, like we said, for those people who don't have those communication skills. They're just really good techs. They want to do the right thing. It's going to help them to be able to give those options to the customer without being overwhelming for them and feeling like they're doing something wrong, Yeah,
it's a real win situation for them. I appreciate that you see that. And really, thank you, Gil, for the opportunity to hang out with you tonight. It's been fun. And thank you, everybody listening in.
Yeah, of course. And you guys are, tell your dad, I know he's listening. You guys are, always welcome to come back on. Anything like this that helps the end user and helps people is the whole reason this podcast was created, to help the audience be better, do better at what they're doing. And I definitely think the new flat rate does that. So
thanks for that. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your time. I'm going to go ahead and close this out real fast. Man, wow. That was, guys, the last couple of weeks have been, between Exo Technologies, Bluon, new flat rate. I mean, this stuff is, you can't get better than this. This is what I always say when you're out there and you say, I didn't know. Well, then you weren't listening and you didn't pay attention, because there's so many resources out there for you to make yourself better, more efficient, make things easier, be able to do more in the short time that you have. So make sure that you're listening, you're paying attention, check these things out. Like if you look at it and you're like, hey, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I don't want to do it. Hey, that's fine. Nobody's forcing you or pressuring you to do anything, but at least do your due diligence and check it out. It's like your kids. I don't like that. I won't eat that. Well, have you ever tried it? No. Well, then how the hell do you know you don't like it? It's the same thing. How do you know you don't like this or you won't use it without actually seeing what it's about? These podcasts are not supposed to be for you to make your decision on it. It's supposed to be for you to make enough of a decision to try it out. All right. I will in a little bit, Z. Just text me, buddy. So always remember that I want to try to give you guys as much information as possible for you guys to be able to make the best educated decision for you and your company, you and your business, as a technician, owner, whatever it may be. Always know that I don't want you guys to feel forced to do anything, but all these companies I bring on are companies that, I believe in these companies that come on. I told you in the beginning, I used to let anybody come on. That's not the case. If these are companies that I wouldn't use personally, they will never come on the podcast or it will never be aired. Okay. I told you, I promised you guys I would make that change. It will never be a sales pitch. It will never, ever be that way. If it gets to that point, then I won't be podcasting anymore. So, all right. Let's close this thing out, man. Make sure you guys follow me on all of the social media sites. I say all, like it's like 100. It's 3. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow me, subscribe, all that good stuff on those. I will be announcing the details of my giveaway here shortly. It is going to be merchandise, gift cards, yellow jacket tools. Some of them are behind me. All kind of stuff to give away. I'm going to be putting little tidbits on different platforms for you to find out. So make sure that you're subscribed to all 3. Go to the HVAC Uncensored Facebook actual business page. Do me a favor, give me a review. Let me know what you think of the show. If it's not 5 stars, don't leave it. And make sure that you, whatever podcast app that you use to listen to the podcast, give me a review there. The more we get those reviews, just like your business, the more that, if you like the podcast, you get some, education out of it, some fun in listening, and you're here every week. That way it gets spread to more and more people out there. Okay. All right. That's it. Guys, remember to be safe out there. All right. Always make it home the same way you left. We all got somebody to make it home to. All right. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy, the next girl, the next company. There's so many resources available in this day and age. Don't ever, like I said, don't ever say you didn't know. Okay. Because if you don't know, then you didn't try. All right. There's too many resources. Make sure that you take advantage of them. All right. I am always here to help you. I love you motherfuckers, man. I don't know everything. I am far from it, knowing everything, but I will always do my best to help you guys and girls in any way possible, because I love this trade. I love to help people, and I just want people to enjoy life, enjoy what they're doing. This is a good trade, and it's only going to give to you what you put into it. You put in shit, you get shit out. But you put your heart and soul into it, it's amazing what you can get out of it. All right. This has been an amazing vessel for me and my family, and I want other people to see it the same way so that they can get the same experience that me and so many others have gotten out of it. It doesn't have to be just a job. It can be a career, and it can be something that really sets you up financially by being honest, doing the right thing, being thorough, and really changing people's lives. All right. Thank all of you who came and watched this in the live show. I really do appreciate you guys. a lot of great live shows coming up. I'll get back to what I was doing before, where I post the list of all the upcoming shows. And so you guys can see who's coming, which ones you're interested in. Next week, I will let you know, is booked to be just me. So you're just going to have me on here in the microphone rapping and bullshitting. So if you guys want to come out, I'll turn on the Yellow Jacket, the Titan text line brought to you by Yellow Jacket. I will turn that on. You guys can text in live. You can call in live next week, and we can talk rap bullshit and talk about some different things about what's going on with your guys' summer. I got a whole list of things we're gonna, talk about and cover. All right. Anyway, it's getting late. It's pouring down rain here in Maryland. I'm surprised, power didn't go out. My backup generators are here, and yeah. Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Please stay safe out there. All right. I appreciate you guys. I really do love you motherfuckers. I appreciate the support that you guys give me. I really, really do. I'm always here if you need me. Any questions, you can email me, hvacuncensored@gmail.com. You can direct message me on any of the social, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Or there is the podcast phone, which the number is 410-422-1000, 410-422-1000. You can text that phone. It's not always on me, but I will check that and always get back to you. All right, man. Love you, mofos. Have a good week, and I'll talk at you next week. All right, peace. Let me put this new blank screen on.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
I lied. I'm still here. Real fast. Thank you to all of the guests who have been coming on. I appreciate you guys. Thank you to Miss Danielle for coming on tonight and taking the time. Thank you to Mr. Rodney for coming into the chat. If you don't know Mr. Rodney Coop, that's Danielle's dad. That is the inventor, owner of New Flat Rate. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Have a good night. Peace.